You want to become the one who stands out effortlessly in public. You don't compete, you elevate. Because while others wasted time talking, you were transforming. While they were trying to be relevant, you were becoming essential. Your advantage isn't in your visibility, it's in your development. And development, when it's done consistently and in silence, creates results that demand attention when the time is right. Quiet focus also builds a level of self-trust that noise never allows. Think about it. When you work without announcing your every move, you learn to rely on your own discipline instead of the reactions of others. You stop depending on praise to fuel you, and you start depending on purpose to sustain you. Your confidence grows, not because someone approved of you, but because you made promises to yourself and you kept them. That kind of internal strength is rare, and it's magnetic. It shows up in your posture, your decisions, your performance, and your presence. People feel it before they even understand it. When they finally see your results, they'll assume it happened overnight. They'll call it luck. What they do want to know is that your overnight success was built over years of quiet focus, day in and day out. Everything in life rewards the person who invests deeply, while others are distracted. Quiet focus turns that investment into undeniable proof. It transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary output. And when those results finally show up, they don't whisper, they roar. They open doors you never knew existed. They change conversations. They elevate your reputation. And they shift your entire identity. You won't need to explain what you've been doing. You won't need to defend where you're going. Your results will walk into every room before you do and speak on your behalf with a volume that silence prepared you for. Silence sharpens your discernment. When the noise around you fades, the truth within you finally has the space to rise. Most people don't struggle with a lack of opportunity. They struggle with a lack of clarity. They're moving, but they aren't directed. They're busy, but they aren't aligned. Noise creates confusion, but silence creates precision. When you step into intentional quiet, when you stop allowing every opinion, every distraction, and every expectation to pull you in a million different directions, you start to hear your own voice. This isn't about isolating yourself from the world. It's about creating a sanctuary for your own thoughts. It's about giving yourself the space to connect with what truly matters to you. In that quiet, you can ask yourself the hard questions. What do I really want? What is the one thing I can do today that will bring me closer to that goal? What am I willing to sacrifice to get there? The answers you find in silence are more powerful than any advice you could get from the outside world. This process of quiet focus is what separates the amateurs from the masters. The amateur seeks validation at every step. They post their workout, they announce their new project. They share every minor victory, looking for that hit of dopamine from likes and comments. The master understands that the real reward is in the work itself. The real validation comes from seeing yourself improve, from knowing you're honoring your commitment. When you embrace this path, you start to move differently. You're no longer in a rush. You're not frantically trying to keep up. You're operating from a place of deep, centered calm. Your actions become more deliberate, more impactful. You're not just reacting to the world. You are shaping your own. This is the source of true power, not the loud, flashy kind, but the quiet, unshakable kind that comes from within. People will notice the change. They'll see a new kind of confidence in you, one that isn't arrogant but is deeply self-assured. They'll be drawn to your energy because it's authentic. While everyone else is fighting for a spot in the limelight, you're building a legacy in the shadows. And when your time comes, the light will find you. You won't have to chase it. Remember, the world is full of noise. It's designed to distract you, to keep you consuming, to keep you from doing the deep work that leads to real growth. Your greatest act of rebellion is to unplug, to turn down the volume, and to focus on your own development. That's where the magic happens. That's where you become unstoppable. The silence isn't empty. It's full of answers. It's the incubator for your best ideas, the training ground for your strongest self. So, embrace it. Let others chase the temporary buzz of attention. You have bigger things to build. Focus on your craft, honor your process, and trust that your silent efforts are creating a sound that will one day echo for everyone to hear. Your future self is counting on the quiet work you do today. Don't let them down. Thank you for watching. If this message resonated with you, consider subscribing for more content on building a life of purpose and focus. We'll see you in the next one. Have you ever felt the need to tell everyone your plans, your dreams, your next big move? It's a natural impulse, right? We want to share our excitement, get feedback, maybe even a little validation. But what if I told you that the secret to truly massive success is unfound in broadcasting your intentions, but in guarding them in silence? What if the loudest results come from the quietest work? Let's talk about a powerful shift that happens when you decide to stop sharing everything with everyone. When you pull back from the constant need for public conversation, something incredible begins to happen. You start sharing more with the one who matters most. You move from seeking opinions to seeking divine direction. Your prayer life deepens. Your spiritual communication becomes your primary source of guidance, not the endless chatter of the crowd. You stop wasting energy trying to convince people to believe in your vision and start surrendering the entire process to the one who gave you that vision in the first place. This is when your quiet seasons transform. They're no longer periods of loneliness or inactivity. They become your training seasons, your shaping seasons, your preparation seasons for the success that is destined to come. Think of it like this. An athlete doesn't train for the Olympics in the middle of the stadium with everyone watching every single day. They train in private, in the gym, on the track, long before the lights come on. They push their limits when no one is there to applaud. They break down and build themselves back up in solitude. Your quiet seasons are your personal gym. It's where you build the spiritual, mental, and emotional muscle required for what's next. And here's the beautiful truth. When God sees that He can trust you with development in private, He will then trust you with elevation in public. It's a fundamental principle. If you can't handle the discipline of working when no one is watching, how can you handle the pressure of succeeding when everyone is? When you protect your vision in silence, God protects your future with favor. That's a powerful promise. Your commitment to quiet focus becomes a magnet for divine opportunity. So many people get this backward. They exhaust themselves trying to be noticed, trying to impress, trying to get applause before they've even earned the evidence. They're making noise, but they're not making progress. They're posting about the grind but aren't actually grinding. The world, however, doesn't reward noise. It rewards outcomes. It rewards results. Think about the most successful people you admire. Do they spend all their time talking about what they're going to do? Or do they disappear for a while and then re-emerge with something incredible, something tangible, something that changes the game? The truth is simple and non-negotiable. Results speak a language that noise never can. Your achievements have their own voice. Your success tells its own story. You don't need to be the narrator when your work is a masterpiece. When you fully commit to this path of quiet focus, you enter a different dimension of discipline. It's a level that most people, frankly, will never experience because it requires patience, faith, and a deep-seated security that doesn't rely on external praise. When you make this shift, you stop trying to broadcast your progress and you start building your progress. You stop seeking validation and you start pursuing mastery. You become obsessed with the process, not the perception. And that change alone, that single pivot in your mindset, can alter the entire trajectory of your life. It's the difference between building a house of cards that looks good on social media and building a solid stone fortress that can withstand any storm. And here's the hook that seals it all. When you silence the world, your work begins to shout. It's not an arrogant shout. It's a confident, undeniable roar. Your work shouts excellence. It shouts growth. It shouts consistency. It shouts capability, all without you ever having to open your mouth to defend or promote yourself. Your results become your resume. Your output becomes your advocate. Quiet focus is your superpower. It's the unseen force that builds empires, creates legacies, and moves mountains. Think about the seed planted in the ground. It does its most critical work in the dark, in silence, beneath the surface. It doesn't announce to the other seeds, "Hey, I'm about to become a mighty oak tree." It just does the work. It pushes through the soil, quietly, persistently, until one day it breaks through the surface. And even then, it doesn't stop to seek applause. It just keeps growing, reaching for the sun, becoming what it was always meant to be. That's the invitation for you today. Stop feeling pressured to perform for an audience. Release the need for constant updates and external approval. Retreat into your sacred space of creation and connection. Let this be your season of private development. Trust the process. Do the work when no one is watching. Build your skills, deepen your faith, and strengthen your character. Because when the time is right, when you are truly prepared, you won't have to announce your arrival. Your presence will be felt. Your success will be undeniable. You won't have to chase the spotlight. The spotlight will find you. Your quiet focus will have created the loudest, most beautiful results imaginable. So, embrace the silence. It's where your future is being built. Thank you so much for watching. If this message resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content to help you build a powerful and purposeful life. See you in the next one. Have you ever noticed how the most powerful transformations happen in silence? Think about it. A seed doesn't make a sound when it pushes through the soil. Your muscles don't scream when they're growing stronger after a workout. And your character, it doesn't announce its own strengthening. Everything truly meaningful, everything that lasts, develops quietly long before it ever makes a public appearance. When you learn to work in silence, you're not just being quiet. You're aligning yourself with the fundamental laws of growth. This quiet focus is your secret weapon. It allows you to build without the constant pressure of being watched. It lets you refine your work without needing an audience for every draft. And most importantly, it gives you the freedom to fail without judgment. This private space is where real progress happens. It's your lab for experimentation, your workshop for adjustments, and your sanctuary to recalibrate until you get it just right. Now, contrast this with what we see all around us. So many people are chasing loud, flashy success. They're always performing, always seeking validation, always trying to prove their worth to an audience. But this constant performance leaves no room for genuine growth. They're too busy being seen to actually become better. They mistake attention for achievement. But the people who truly become unstoppable, they choose a different path. They prioritize quiet focus. They are undistracted by the glare of the spotlight because they are completely dedicated to the process itself. They understand that the work done behind the scenes is what creates the results everyone will eventually see. They're not building a facade. They're building a foundation. And here's the crucial hook that so many people miss. Quiet focus massively increases your value before the world even knows who you are. When you dedicate yourself to sharpening your skills behind the scenes, you're not just waiting for an opportunity. You are actively becoming the person people will desperately look for when that opportunity finally arrives. When you build your competence privately, you create an undeniable expertise. You're not just hoping for a lucky break. You're crafting your own inevitability. Think of it like this. The world is full of noise. Everyone is shouting, posting, and broadcasting their every move. In this chaotic environment, silence isn't emptiness. It's clarity. It's the space where you can actually hear yourself think, where you can connect with your own intuition and make decisions that are truly yours, not influenced by the crowd. When you step away from the noise, you stop reacting to everything around you and start observing. Observing instead of reacting is a superpower. A reactor is tossed around by external events, their emotions dictated by likes, comments, and the opinions of others. An observer, however, stands firm. They see the trends, they understand the dynamics, but they choose their response deliberately. They act from a place of strength and intention, not from a place of panic or impulse. This is the shift from being a pawn in the game to becoming a player who understands the board. This is when you read the books that expand your mind. People will only see the final product. They'll see the effortless performance, the brilliant idea, the overnight success. The point is to make the outcome so powerful that it speaks for itself. Let your success be the noise. Let your results do the talking. While others are busy crafting the perfect social media post about their hustle, you'll be busy actually doing the work. While they're chasing followers, you'll be cultivating mastery. And when the time comes, the gap between you and them will be unmistakable. So, how do you start cultivating this quiet focus? It begins with a simple decision. The decision to value progress over performance. The decision to choose substance over style. Start by carving out protected time in your day, free from digital distractions. Use this time not just to work, but to think deeply. Turn off the notifications. Close the unnecessary tabs. Give yourself permission to be unavailable to the world so you can be fully available to yourself and your goals. Embrace the idea that your journey is your own. It doesn't need to be validated or approved by anyone else. Your timeline is unique. Don't compare your quiet beginning to someone else's loud middle. The most profound growth happens internally first. You have to become it on the inside before you can show it on the outside. Remember the seed. It gathers all its strength in the dark, silent earth. It builds its potential unseen. Then, when it's ready, it breaks through, not with a roar, but with a quiet, unstoppable force. Be the seed. Do your work in the quiet. Build your strength in the dark. Trust the process of silent growth. When you're ready, you won't need to announce your arrival. Your presence will be felt. Your value will be undeniable. You will have become a force of nature. Thank you for watching. If this message resonated with you, consider subscribing for more content on building a life of purpose and strength. See you in the next one, where God works on you, shapes you, prepares you, and positions you for what's next. Silence protects your vision in ways most people never recognize until it's too late. The fastest way to weaken a dream is to expose it to the wrong audience too early. When you choose silence, you're not hiding. You're guarding what isn't strong enough yet to survive criticism, doubt, or careless opinions. Think of your vision like a seed. If you plant it in the open, where everyone can trample it, it never has the chance to take root. But when you plant it quietly, nurture it privately, and let it grow beneath the surface, it becomes unshakable. The enemy of greatness is premature exposure, and silence becomes the shield that keeps your purpose protected while it matures. The hook here is simple. Your silence is not secrecy, it is strategy. It is the intentional decision to value what God placed inside you more than the validation of people who were never assigned to your destiny. Every vision has a vulnerable stage, and most people sabotage themselves by talking more than they're building. They announce ideas they haven't prayed through, share plans they haven't tested, and reveal moves they haven't mastered. And then they wonder why momentum fades. When you talk too soon, you invite voices that have no place in your life to shape your direction. You open the door for discouragement, comparison, and judgment to interrupt what God is forming. But when you stay silent, you create a barrier between your vision and the noise around you. Silence protects your mental clarity, your emotional energy, and your spiritual direction. It lets you focus deeply without having to defend your intentions to people who don't even understand their own. So many of us feel this internal pressure to announce our every move. We think that by sharing our goals, we're holding ourselves accountable. But what we're often doing is seeking validation. We're looking for someone to say, "That's a great idea," before we've even done the work to prove it's a great idea. But what happens when they don't say that? What happens when they say, "Are you sure you can do that?" Or someone else is already doing that better? Suddenly, the energy you had for your vision is redirected into defending it. The time you were going to spend building is now spent managing other people's opinions. This is the trap of premature exposure. You drain your power before you've even started. Your silence is the ultimate power move because it says, "My work will speak for itself." It declares that you trust the process, you trust your preparation, and you trust the timing that God has for you. It's about being so focused on the building that you don't have time for the talking. Think about the greatest creations, the most impactful movements. They didn't start with a press conference. They started in a quiet room, a garage, a private journal. They started with a period of intense, focused, and silent work. The world only saw the result after the foundation was unbreakably strong. Your season of silence is your season of strength building. It's where you learn, you fail, you adjust, and you try again, all without the pressure of an audience. This is where God refines you. He's not just building your project, He's building your character. He's teaching you resilience, patience, and faith. If you broadcast every step of that messy, beautiful process, you invite judgment on a work that is still in progress. People will judge your chapter 1 based on their chapter 20. They will criticize your blueprint because they can't see the finished cathedral. Silence allows you to work through the awkward phases, the mistakes, the learning curves, without having to explain yourself. It gives you the freedom to pivot, to change your mind, to follow the divine nudges without a chorus of voices asking why. Remember, not everyone is qualified to speak into your life. In fact, most aren't. Your destiny is a sacred space between you and your Creator. Inviting everyone into that space is like leaving the door to a treasury wide open. You must learn to be a gatekeeper of your own vision. This isn't about being arrogant or secretive. It's about being wise. It's about understanding that what is precious must be protected. When you speak less, you hear more. You hear your own intuition more clearly. You hear the guidance of God more distinctly. The noise of the world fades, and the signal of your purpose becomes stronger. Let's be real for a moment. It's hard to stay quiet when you're excited. You want to share the good news. You want to celebrate the small wins. You want to bring people along on the journey, and there is a time and place for that. The key is discernment. Who is your inner circle? Who are the people who have proven they can hold your vision with the same care that you do? Who are the people who will water your seed, not trample it? These are the only people who have earned the right to hear about it before it is ready for the world. For everyone else, let them see the fruit. Let them be surprised by your success. Let them witness the outcome of your quiet dedication. The Bible says to be quick to listen and slow to speak. This isn't just a rule for polite conversation. It's a strategy for a powerful life. When you're slow to speak, you give yourself time to think, to process, to pray. You respond instead of react. In the context of your vision, being slow to speak means you're building a foundation of certainty before you make a public declaration. You're waiting until your belief in your vision is stronger than anyone's doubt. The world is full of noise and opinions. Everyone has a suggestion, a criticism, a better way. If you let it, that noise will drown out the still, small voice that's guiding you. Silence is how you turn down the volume on the world, so you can turn up the volume on your purpose. It's the sacred space where you and God co-create what's next. So, I challenge you today. Identify the dream, the vision, the next step that you've been talking about too much. Make a conscious decision to pull it back, protect it, go silent. Stop talking about it, and start being about it. Nurture it in private. Do the work when no one is watching. Let your actions make the noise. The world will hear you loud and clear when it's time. Your silence isn't empty. It's full of power, preparation, and purpose. It is the strategy of the strong. This practice of strategic silence is not about becoming a recluse or pushing people away. It's about curating your energy. Your energy is a finite resource. Silence conserves your power. It keeps you charged up for the tasks that truly matter. It allows you to stay in a state of creative flow, undisturbed by the friction of external opinions. When you're in your silent building phase, you're not just working on your project. You're becoming the person who is capable of handling the success that is coming. God is preparing you for the weight of the blessing. Premature exposure can lead to premature success, which can be just as dangerous as failure. Creative flow, undisturbed by the friction of external opinions. When you're in your silent building phase, you're not just working on your project. You're becoming the person who is capable of handling the success that is coming. God is preparing you for the weight of the blessing. Premature exposure can lead to premature success, which can be just as dangerous as failure. If you're not ready for the attention, the responsibility, the pressure that comes with a realized vision, it can crush you. The silent season is your training ground. It's where you develop the emotional maturity, the spiritual fortitude, and the practical skills to sustain what you're building. It is an act of faith to trust that what is being built in the dark will shine brightly in the light at the right time. Don't rush the process. Do not trade the sacredness of your journey for a few likes, or of that escort from a casual acquaintance. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content to help you on your journey. We'll see you in the next one.